Hello everyone, I'm going to be going over my league starter for 320, and it is the Witch Occultist with zombies and 3 curses. The curses are going to be Temporal Chains, Punishment, and Despair. I'm going to begin by saying where I would initially go if I were to begin a new league. And this is what I'm going to do as well while I do the new league. So this is a starting point right here. So my first objective is going to be to get my minions, as many minions as I can to begin. So I'm going to go to Lord of the Dead first, and then I'm going to work my way up to Death Attunement. I think these two are very important, and they will help a lot. Next, I will be going to Sacrifice to make sure that they don't die. And then I would work my way down here and pick up Gravepack. Then after Gravepack, it is definitely up to you, but a good idea would be to go to get Redemption, Righteous Army, and then Sovereignty as well. You want to leave Corruption for a long time. You really don't want to get Corruption until the very end. These health nodes are up to you. This right here is going to be for 320. So if you're going to be using this build for 319, which I doubt, but right now I'm using it in my build just to get a feel for what the build would be in 320 with it and without it. And the gaze, so this increases your overtime multiplier damage, and your primary damage is poison, which in turn is chaos. So you will definitely get this item later in the game, towards the end of the of your leveling, probably like around 82 to 90 and above. And what you do is you stack up to 5 ghastly eye jewels to increase the damage of your overtime multipliers. And you don't need 5, look at your path of building and see where you're at and see what's good and see what's not good. But you don't have to just have all 5 of them. So, and then I'm going to go over the Watcher's Eye. I think that this is a staple in a lot of people's gear and a lot of people's builds, so I'm going to go over it a little bit. And the one I have right now, I think is really good, but there's different variants that you could get that would work better, or you could add another ability to it. My favorite stats for the Watcher's Eye for this build are Purity of Elements, that gives chaos resistance, and unaffected by elemental weakness with Purity of Elements. And I definitely like phasing with haste. If you could get those 3 or 2 of those, you're going to be in a good spot. So, and another key of this build is that Iron Reflexes. What this does is it converts your evasion rating into armor, and you'll be using Grace as well. You'll be taking a couple of evasion nodes right here and getting a little bit of spell suppression. So that's pretty much what I would do in a general explanation of the build and the talent tree. I'm going to go after the Ascendancies really quick, and they're all good. There's not a single one that's bad. Even with the changes, they're all going to be good. I would take Malediction first. Profane Bloom and Withering Presence are so hard for me to tell which one to get first. I would definitely leave it up to you. But the options are, I'll explain which one and what they do for both of them. Profane Bloom is going to make it easier for you to clear stuff. In my personal opinion, I'll be taking this before Withering Presence because I want to be able to kill stuff quicker and make it easier on me. This is getting nerfed as well. I believe that I believe it's getting nerfed. I can't remember what's exactly happening to it, but it's not too bad of a nerf. I know they're removing the hex from it and moving it to malediction, and they're removing malediction into the talent tree. So there's a couple of changes, but I still think this is a great league starter. Alright. I'm going to jump into the configurations really quick. Your minions are going to have frenzy charges. This is going to come from the Chieftains, the Ape Chieftains. They're in Act 2, so pick them up whenever you can get Spectres, and they give you frenzy. Fortified is, I don't know if I should even have this anymore. I'm going to remove it because the Kingmaker is going to be so rare to get, and I'm not sure how it's going to work anymore, or even if people are going to use it for their builds. I'm going to have to look into that and make a message or a comment or put something in the description of what I would do with that. Elusive is from Withering Step, and what it does, it gives you the chance to avoid all damage from hits, and increases your movement speed, and it gives you phasing. I'll explain what phasing is at the end of the video, but I'll give you a little general idea what it does. It allows you to go through mobs and obstacles. You can't run through walls and everything, but like ice barriers and monsters, you just go right through them. You have consecrated ground from your flasks. I'll go over that later. And these two are just not important. Feeding Frenzy is a damage buff that you get from your minions when they attack. And at the moment, I have the build set to Guardian and Pinnacle boss, and it's good damage. Like the Occultist Witch build that I have right here does very good damage on Pinnacle boss and Guardians. So with the changes to 320 coming, it's going to be even better. And the kill speed for maps is really good. See, this is kind of an indication how good it is. So even if we do get nerfed in the mapping section of normal mobs, I think it won't matter. I think overall this whole build is going to be buffed. Okay, so I have low life on because I'm using punishment. If you remove it, it drops you by half. But as I said before, with the patch for 320, this damage will be increased, making punishment even better, and the curses are getting buffed. It's kind of weird. The harder the enemy, the better the curses. Weaker the mobs or creatures, the worse the curses do. So this build works fine for it. Withered Stacks is to increase cast damage, and your primary damage is poisoned, so increasing the damage of chaos helps a lot. Now I only have 8 stacks, but you could increase it to 15. You cannot increase it over 15. You can get an elaborate enchant that has +2 or +3, and I believe one of the gem types gives you 9. But it has to be gem level 21. So, and the enemy is on consecrated ground. Alright, I'm going to jump into skills very quickly and explain the skills. I have Phantasmal Raise Zombies. You don't need it. You could use the default Raise Zombie. You don't need all these awakening gems. You could use the basic variant of multi-strike and such. And if you see an empowered or an enhance, you could always drop it to 3. You do not need to have the exact gear that I have posted on this path of building. So just use your best judgment and use the lower variants of the items I have, and you will be definitely fine. And a tip for everybody out there that's first starting in the league, Tabula Rosa is a great item, and definitely try to pick it up as fast as you can. It's a 6 link with all white sockets. It's a great item to start off with. I try to get it in every league to help my leveling and farming for all my gear. And I'm gonna jump into the chest, and this is for the curses. I know the chest is primarily to increase the damage of your curses. As you can see, chains and despair, and blasphemy to make it an AoE. But blasphemy is going to decrease the damage and the effectiveness of curses. So we'll have to see the changes in path of building and in the game to see how much the damage is affected by it. I'm kind of curious, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm very excited. And this molten shell could be replaced with enhanced gem 3 or 4, and you can move molten shell wherever you want. There's a couple of spots you could do it, but I'll leave that up to you, because like I always say, there's always a different way of doing something. Alright, I'm going to jump into items. The cane, I use this in practically every build I do. I think it's the best two-handed staff in the game for minions, and it is not that expensive. I got it last league for a 5 link for like about 20 chaos, I believe. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. The blood gnome, this doesn't have the right implicit. You'd want to get an implicit that gives you increased despair damage, and you would definitely like mana reservation on it too. And it also doesn't have health. So I'm gonna bring this up really quick so you guys know, is that when I make a build, I don't try to make it perfect. I try to make it to where I believe that other people could use it and I can use it good. So if you see something out of place or something that you could get better, by all means do it. Don't just use this as a guide. Don't try to do exactly everything that I'm doing. It's better if you try to like get something better, you know. If you feel that you can, do it. The chest has 60% chance to poison enemies, which is very important because that is your main damage source. The other source of getting poisoned enemies on hit is from ghastly jewel eyes, which you'll definitely want to get like about 3 or 4 of them to increase your poison chance to hit enemies by 100. This item, if you could get it early on in the game, is extremely strong. It'll increase your damage greatly and help you. The implicit for elemental resist is correct, and I believe that you can also get despair for unique enemy, which is a lot of damage as well. The stats on this are pretty good. You could follow it. The gloves are to make your damage all chaos, and the sockets have to be white in order to make all of them chaos. Now you don't need to have all white sockets. You could have 2 to 3 and still have quite a bit of chaos damage coming from them. So try to like get a good deal on them and see what you could do. The boots are up to you. The implicits, I really didn't pay attention to them or anything, but increased life regeneration and resist fire are pretty good. Everyone's going to want run speed and health, and dexterity is probably going to be a staple to most of the boots for this build because dexterity is kind of hard to get because you're using a lot of legendaries. The necklace, the shaper, and elder item. This is the big ticket item in this build. Now, I have despair and temporal chains, and this item I believe is going to be buku money. It's going to be very expensive, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's going to be expensive. I've gotten a lot of great deals on these, but now that the curses are buffed for pinnacle bosses, I don't know where the price is going to stand. So I'm gonna let you know right now, you do not need to actually have both Despair and Temporal Chains on here. I would definitely tell you to get Despair and then use Temporal Chains on a Profane proxy to begin your quest and making your character powerful. This will definitely help, and it'll relieve a lot of the pressure on your build and make you a lot more stronger. This item is definitely endgame whenever you could get it, and the Shaper Elder fight is extremely hard. I'm not even gonna lie, I have problems with it. The Bone Ring, it's just got stats on there, minion damage, and everyone's gonna get a Bone Ring. These are fairly common and cheap. This is a level 5, easy to get. The belt is my favorite in the game. I always get the implicit 15 to 16 elemental resist. You could also get another implicit on here, but it usually costs a bit too much for me. This item is extremely cheap and I love it. It's my favorite item in the game. What it does is it allows your zombies and specters to use your flask that you have on. A lot of people don't like this item because it doesn't allow you to actually heal yourself or increase your resists at all. So many people shy away from this item, but I think it's my favorite game mechanic in the game, and I wouldn't play the game any other way. I could, and I can, and I have, and I do have some builds that do, but I prefer to have this belt because I think it's a great item. Now, the flash that you're giving to your zombies and specters. The Forbidden Taste, you will not be using this until very, very late endgame to endgame. What this does is it's going to trigger all these other damage flasks in order for you to buff your minions. Now, you're going to remove Forbidden Taste for a Quicksilver flask that has Onslaught on it on boss fights, because you don't want to trigger all the flasks on a boss fight. You want to use them when you want to specifically use them, so you're timing it. All these flasks right here, these are for the end game, but you can always get the equivalent of it in the blue, except for this one. So I definitely like the phasing one and resists and run speed while I'm leveling. So the Bottle of Faith, you see the 40 increased damage. You could get another flash that has that exact same effect, but you're not going to get the cool other stats from Consecrated Ground. You're not going to be able to get this one, but typically these are not that expensive and pretty easy to get, except for Bottle of Faith, I believe. I'm not too sure about the other ones. I'm really hoping that they have some new cool and exciting flasks for me to use with my belts. So I think that's about everything. So I'm going to jump in the game and explain what I'm doing in the game while I'm playing. Oh, I forgot to buff myself. Just give me a second here. I'm going to jump into a map, and I'm going to try and explain everything that's going on. Alright, let's hop into this map. I just made these maps. I didn't, if I die, I apologize. I'm not going to redo all this. And no one's perfect, so let's hope I don't die. Who cares, right? As you can see, there's a lot of modifiers on it. It's not an easy map. Alright. You're starting the map. And whenever you see mobs and you feel like that you're in danger, use Molten Shell. Oh, I forgot my minions. Oh. Oh, that's terrible. Well, this is actually really good. I'm wondering why is nothing dying. But so this is a cool little trick in order to get all your minions up and running. Because of your 6-link being with zombies, it takes a long time to raise your zombies. So I came up with this little trick. I don't know if a lot of people use it or not, but what you do is you do desecrate, you raise all your zombies up. See, you don't have all of them. Now you have to wait all day just to get your other zombies up. What I do is I use a waypoint, and I go to the go here, and you get full mana, and voila, you keep doing it until you get all your minions fully stocked up. Some people might not work if their computers are slow, but it works pretty quick if you have a nice computer, I guess. Alright, I gotta raise the Spectres really quick. Who cares? I'm just gonna give myself crap. And this is for learning experience. Alright. Sorry about that. What a goofball, huh? Alright, fully buffed and I'm going in. So if you see like a big pack of mobs and everything, you wanna and you feel like it's gonna hurt really bad, throw your molten shell down, or throw it on you. And molten shell is a buff that increases the damage that you could take. There's different variants of it, so you could pick which one ever you want. There's also a Val one, which gives you a huge damage one. When you see stuff like that, you have a buff called Withering Step that increases the speed of your movement. But there's one drawback. It has a lot of good things going for it, but when you use it and you use a different ability, it removes that Withering Step effect and the phasing step. And so I'm going to show you. See, I use Withering Step, and you could run through enemies. But I have a Watcher's Eye that has haste with phasing, so I really don't need to do that. So if you ever see yourself in trouble or you need to get out of dodge, make sure you use Withering Step to get out of there. One of my favorite things to do is to open a strong box and throw down my molten shell and then use my run speed and use my Withering Step to get out of dodge. So now what else is there? When you're a higher level, you're gonna have an automated flask, so you really don't have to worry about this. And your automated flask, it might be different. I saw a new flask that I liked a lot that could keep minions alive. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm using the Forbidden Taste right now, and it triggers all the rest of them. I have a Jason flask used, so just run around killing stuff. If you really wanted to, you could trigger it yourself. So solid build, nice damage. It's really good for bosses. You also have Val Haste, increase the damage. I typically don't use Withering Step very much because it's just going to get removed anyways, unless I'm in like deep trouble and I want to get out of dodge, or I don't want to die by ground effects. And I also use Withering Step on last bosses and big bosses. You want to time it. You don't want to use it recklessly. Alright, I'll demonstrate one map, another map, and this leak starting demonstration and detailed guide, I hope helps a lot of people. Alright, I'm going through. Trouble, Molten Shell. Molten Shell is a very quick buff too. It comes back really fast, so make sure you keep an eye on it while you're playing so you can use it. You could use Val Haste too during the trash. Increase your clear speed. Definitely useful at the end of boss fights to take them down quickly. Plus we have punishment to help with that as well. So pretty easy when you have it automated. It's pretty easy. All you're doing is using Molten Shell staying out of ground effects and using withering step to get out of dodge whenever you're in trouble. There's that boss. There's the boss. Alright, here's withering step. Wham bam, thank you, man. He is dead. Alright everybody, that's the end of the guide. This is my league starter. I will have a link down below of the path to building, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, please be safe and be careful. Have a nice day.